good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Mindset Master Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Reed, and I'm also the proprietor of the podcast. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a really important topic, and that topic is going to be how to build your ideal life in 3 simple steps. Now, this topic is so important that I decided to come outside in 6-degree weather right now to help you learn about how to build your ideal life. So that must really mean it's an ideal and near and dear topic to me in my heart to be outside in these kind of excruciatingly cold conditions right now to provide this content for you here. But I'm going to power through it, and we're going to rock and roll, and we're going to get some really good value from this episode today. Now, if you want to learn more about how to build your ideal life in 3 simple steps, stay tuned to the end of this episode. Now, before we get into how to build your ideal life, we need to uncover first, what is your ideal life? Because see, everybody's ideal life is going to be completely different. What you may want for your ideal life is going to be probably completely different from me, what I want for my ideal life. You know, something in life I realized, whatever your ideal life is, you can't push your ideal life onto anybody else, not your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, not anybody. And I never will forget when I was younger, I used to try to push my ideal life onto my relatives. They would be like, well, Tony, we don't really want to start this business. We don't really want to have this debt-free life. So kind of like let us alone and like leave us be, and you know, so we can do our own thing. Initially, when I was younger, that actually hurt my feelings because I was like, why isn't nobody listening to me how to build their ideal life? I see what you guys are going through. I see the hell and pain and torment that you guys are going through. So what I'm doing, I'm throwing a lifeline over out into you for you to be able to grab it and pull yourself up onto the boat dock. But they never did do the things that I recommended. And that's when I realized when I was about 18 or 19 that only person I need to worry about living my ideal life and pushing my ideal life for is me, because realistically nobody has the same vision of an ideal life that I do. That's completely okay because we're all different. We're all different breeds of people. We all come from different upbringings, different backgrounds and things of that nature. I just wanted to first gently touch on what an ideal life is for you. So we need to first uncover what your ideal life looks like. Step 1 in building your ideal life, discover your true desires. Whenever you're trying to uncover your true desires, you have to start small. See, you're trying to build your ideal life, and an ideal life doesn't come overnight. It's nothing that just you go from boom to boom overnight. Sometimes for some people it happens like that, but that's like more of that unicorn type of thing. And again, it can happen to you, and I'm wishing that it would happen to you. But let's just say if it didn't happen to you, you didn't have that unicorn effect. Now, what I recommend to do is to start by journaling, start by meditating. See, when you do those 2 practices right there, amongst other things that you also can do, like listening to affirmations, you know, things like that you do that puts a positive perspective on your life. That's the first initial footing to build a ideal life. When you building your ideal life, it's kind of just like if I was to come on my property right here, and if I was to want to build something right here, if I was to want to build like a shed in this spot right here, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to take some bobcats, or I'm going to have to take a shovel. I'm going to have to do something and actually excavate this particular patch of grass right here. After I do that, the next thing is going to be, I need to put some gravel down. I need to put me some concrete down. Make sure you got the floats and make sure the concrete is smooth. Then after that, then we can start building up the tool shed of the house, or the addition to the house, or whatever we want to do. But you see how the first thing we had to do, we had to put forth action. We had to get the ground over here beside me dug up first. And see, when you're getting your ground dug up, what I'm talking about is journaling, meditation, things like that is going to be what's going to excavate that ground for you. And that's going to get you pumped up and built up to move in the right angle, in the right direction, so you can build up your ideal life. You deserve to have your ideal life. Never let anybody make you feel like you don't deserve an ideal life. life, not your mom, your dad, your family. And the reason I keep on talking about family is because here lately I've been hearing a lot of people emailing me and writing and calling me and stuff like that, trying to, get me to help them with their issues that they're going through with their family and mindsets and stuff like that. During this holiday season time frame right here, it's like crucial to make sure that you do what you need to do and not get wrapped up in other people. So that's why I'm saying, please start the groundwork first of excavating your mind. That's phase 1 of step 1. Now we need to move on to phase 2 of step 1. And that's going to be, if you want to live your ideal life, if you want to build your ideal life, you have to take action in the right direction that's going to move you and move the needle forward in your life. Now, what I'm talking about is, let's just say if your ideal life is for you to be kicked back at 55, living on the beach down in Naples, Florida somewhere. Now, if you're 38 right now, what you need to be doing right now in today's time, you need to be setting money aside. So that way, once you turn 55, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I'm 55. Today's my 55th birthday. What have I done with my life? Because see, that's where most people go wrong in trying to build their ideal life. They don't really start that ground footing the right way. Most people wake up on the wrong side of the bed because they done grabbed their cell phone and looked at all this negativity and stuff like that early in the morning before they even got their mindset together. And that's the reason why I'm a big time pro advocate on getting your own mind together in the morning before you do anything. Before I touch my phone, I always get my mindset together, because my goal is to always continually build my ideal life. Because see, my ideal life that I had last year, we're family here, I'm going to be honest with you, was for me and my wife to buy a really nice house. Now, we achieved that goal, but now in this time frame here, my ideal life now is going to be like longevity, like legacy. That's my ideal life now. It's not getting the big house. It's not getting the fancy sports car. It's not getting the Lamborghini. It's not getting any of that, because I've already had all of that stuff. What it is for me now that I am a 40-year-old man, I am building my legacy right now. So that way I don't have any children as of the recording of this episode right now. I got like a few nieces and nephews that whenever I pass on, I can have something to give to my kids, or either my nieces and my nephews, or some kids who are in need or who need some help. I'm that kind of particular person. See, that's my ideal lifestyle. I do the things every single day in my life that is pushing me toward that angle. That's why I'm trying to tell you, the second phase of step 1 in building your ideal life is going to be, make sure that you take the right action in the right direction. Now it's time to break down your goal. Now your goal is to get a Mercedes AMG GT Coupe. Now you know that this is a $185,000 car. At your current job, you make about $50,000 to $65,000 a year. First thing you need to do is set a savings goal of XYZ amount of money per month. The next thing you need to do is set a time frame that you want to have the car by. See, most people that say set the time frame and then get the money right. I recommend to do the money right first and then get the time frame right, because if you know how you need to spend your money, you can kind of budget it, and then you can kind of make your budget work around you, so that way you're not struggling half to death to afford this $1,200 to $1,500 per month car note for the next 6 years. You don't want anything like that. You're trying to build your ideal life. The next thing is, you want this car. Start building up your spending plan. Start building up how you're going to do it. Now, something else that I recommend, most people would think, oh, I want to get a car like that. I need to go and work myself to the bone. That's not how you have the ideal life. It's not by stacking jobs and more responsibility in that aspect on top of you, because you're a human. You need to spend time with your kids and your relatives and stuff like that, and your spouse. The best way to do that is going to be start you a secondary income source. Start a dropshipping business. Start a print-on-demand business. Start something that's going to bring you that passive income, because when you have that passive income, that's a huge step in building your ideal life, because most people want an ideal life. They talk the yip yap that they want an ideal life, but they don't never take the physical step needed that they need to do to get them their ideal life. And they be sitting back wondering why this man over here got the Bentley Continental Coupe. Make sure you design your ideal life around you. Don't design your ideal life around what anybody else wants. See, that is a disaster waiting to happen. Phase 2 of step 2 is going to be set a clear deadline for this particular goal. You got a goal of getting a Mercedes AMG GT Coupe. It's January now. Set a goal of February 2026. Set a realistic goal and do everything you can in your power to make sure that you achieve that deadline. See, you can have the life you want whenever you want it. The thing is, you just have to go out and get the life. Life ain't coming to you. Oh, hey, Tony, it's me, it's life. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't come to you. You have to go to life. If you want to build your ideal life, you have to get up, get out, and get something and go get what you want in life. So make sure that you have a deadline, because if you want to live an ideal life, you have to have a deadline. Step 3 in building your ideal life is going to be stay committed to your goals. This one here is going to be a really, really good one here, because a lot of times in life, if we have a goal set, we look for that come up right now. We look for that goal pile to be right here. We want the goal to happen yesterday. We ain't put forth no work on this goal. We ain't put forth no effort. We ain't done anything, but we expect the goal to happen. And most of the time, whenever the goal doesn't happen in an expedited fashion, how perhaps you may want it to happen, a lot of times people will give up. People will be like, man, this ain't for me. I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna walk away. See, that's the thing. You cannot give up. You cannot walk away. You cannot leave the podium. You can't do that. You gotta always stay on track. You gotta always stay on target. That's why you have to make sure that you have that goal. That goal is going to be that target. It's going to be that dot, that bulb, that beam that's going to make you focus. And then when you have that focus in your life, then you have to make sure you stay committed to achieving that particular goal. And see, that's the reason why when you're building your ideal life, the goal that you have has to be strong enough to make sure that you stay committed. When you're trying to build your ideal life, it's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations that you're going to be going through. That's going to sometimes make you stumble on certain things. But see, whenever you stumble, don't take that stumble as a failure. See, failure never happens until you make it up in your mind that you have failed. You've never failed in life until you have given up. Once you've given up, then you have officially, F-A-I-L-E-D, you have failed. Pile F. As long as you stay committed to your goal and make sure you do what you need to do each and every single day of your life in the right way. I just want to just touch on this right here for a second before we head out of here. See, a lot of people feel like if I'm doing busy work in life, oh, I'm productive. And see, I'm guilty of that. I used to be really, really guilty of doing busy work. My wife used to come in my office and be like, hey, Tony, what you doing? Shit, babe, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing a whole bunch of it. Tony, what the hell you mean you don't know what you're doing? You running this business, how you don't know what you're doing? I was doing busy work. I'm putting colors on my website. I'm doing stuff that's throwing me and setting me way back because of fear. I wanted my ideal life, but inside of my heart, it was something that was still holding me back. It was that little voice inside of my head that said, Tony, you can't do this. I used to be so fearful of having my ideal life. I used to try to put myself like lower than what I was, because when you stay meek and simple, you're also simple-minded. And if your scope is narrow as my tripod is right here, you're not going to be able to see certain things that you need to be able to see in life and make you the right decisions in life. I quit trying to be the little man. I started thinking about being the big man. That's what I started thinking about. I started thinking about what can I do to up level my life. When I started thinking like that, business opportunities came, bigger houses came, rental property came, more cars came, EMGs came. All of this came right here when I started believing that I can do it, and when I start believing that I deserve it. See, that's all it is. When you try to build your ideal life, you have to know that you deserve your ideal life, because a whole lot of times in life, we can feel like we don't deserve certain things. And 9 times out of 10, when you feel like you don't deserve something in life, that normally happens from a family member or a close friend or somebody who you really respect a whole lot in life that will go up there and tell you something. Then because you respect them, you'll start thinking it, you'll start believing it, and then you won't go out and get your ideal life. And that about wraps it up for today's episode. Until next time, I'll catch you later.